Cool, we're here. Hello and welcome. My name's Leanne Peard on the live local video show today. And I know a couple of you have been messaging me saying, where are we? And we're here. We just had a few technical issues. So tonight it gives me great pleasure and I'm absolutely honoured to be able to present to you and interview the wonderful Michael Johnson, the Mojo Master. So Michael is a renowned transformational expert who acquired the name the Mojo Master after transforming his own life from a troubled school dropout with learning difficulties, depression, chronic fatigue, and a host of mental and emotional issues, to become a high-performing, inspirational educator and results expert hired by some of the world's top business leaders, teams, and champion athletes. So with no further ado, I'm just going to bring Michael in to have a chat with us. Hello, Michael.
Oh, I can't hear you. I've dropped out again.
So this does happen when we go live. So what I'll just get you to do is refresh.
I can't hear anything.
So I'll refresh, you guys. We haven't lost it. Is this way? All right. So he's just popped off there. So sometimes this happens on a live event because we're actually live. So sometimes the guests can't hear us, but that's okay. Bear with us. We will do this, and I'll just refresh as well. Actually, no, I won't in case he comes back in. But anyway, whilst we're waiting for Michael to jump back in, the Mojo Master is happening this week in Cairns on Thursday. So just seeing if he's coming back in. So it's this week on Thursday, and that's why I reached out to Michael's general manager, Katie, to actually see if we could have a chat with Michael and actually get some more information about what the Mojo Master is and how you can attend this amazing event. He's back. He's back. Here we go. Fingers crossed. IT fairies, please be with us. Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So I was just giving the guys a little bit of a spiel about you coming to Cairns on Thursday, but without sharing too much information, Michael, again, we're here. So thank you very much for joining us. So tell me, what is Mojo and what is a Mojo Master?
Well, to cut the long story short, I was just at a mate's house one day, and the business used to be called Ultimate Achiever. And it was a bit too corporate-y and a bit too wanky. And one day I was just a bit stuck, and I didn't really know what our branding was doing. And one day I was at a mate's house and I was training, and he said, "You're like this Mojo dude. You've got like this energy." And I thought, Mojo dude, that's really cool. And it sort of stuck in my mind for a couple of days. And then I Googled what Mojo meant, the original meaning of it, and it was a bag it's an African folklore where they used to wear a bag of mojo, and it contained herbs and crystals to keep away bad spirits and bring in good spirits. And I thought I sort of liked that at the time. It was a cool idea. And then it was just one day I was sitting in my office thinking about the branding of Mojo, and it clicked, and I ran into my wife's office, who is a graphic designer, and I just said to her, "I'm the Mojo Master." And she said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "I'm the Mojo Master." And she said, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And I said, "We're rebranding." And within a couple of days, I was the Mojo Master. And about 3 weeks later, I was in Melbourne for an event, and this guy came running across the road. It was about 2 a.m. in the morning, and I walked out of a nightclub. And he said, "Mojo Master, Mojo Master, I follow you on Facebook, dude, you rock." And then he got in a cab and took off. And I thought, cool, at least the brand stuck. So that's how I became the Mojo Master.
And I love the story behind it. I think we all need a little bit of something in a bag to help us get through the day. Not that stuff. But anyway, Leanne, stay on focus. So tell us about like the business journey, the short story. So how did you end up becoming the Mojo Master? Like, you obviously had a business already. What was that business about? What do you do?
Originally, it was I'm a diesel mechanic by trade and just hated it, and wanted to get out, and figured out the thing that I really love to do was help people, and became a personal trainer. I did night school to become a personal trainer, and it was I didn't do really well at school. I was put into special classes and told I had dyslexia and ADD and all of those things. So going back to school was really scary for me, but I ended up going back there, and I found that when I did something that I loved, I was a straight A student and just really loved doing it. And as things progressed, I ended up going back and studying nutrition and kinesiology. I was working at a medical center and ran like a rehabilitation and personal studio out of the medical center. And one day I was sitting there and I was talking with a few of the people that I would consistently see in the medical center. And it was at that point I realized that most people in life know what to do, they just don't do it. And then that's what led me to start working with a psychologist and understanding what psychology was about. And I just gained a real love for it. And then after that, I just traveled around the world studying from people way smarter than me, and that sort of launched the business. And I guess now, I'm fortunate enough to be able to travel around the country and around the world and work with some of the highest performing entrepreneurs and business leaders, also professional athletes. And we get a lot of people who come to our events with big dreams, big goals, and who are driven to achieve them. And my goal is to just be able to help them to get a lot of clarity. And some of the stuff, the tools that we're using at the moment are probably some of the best in the world. I love studying, so I do a lot of scientific research and things like that, or read a lot of scientific literature, and it's just allowed me to piece together why it is that most people don't achieve, even if they've gone to lots of motivational events, lots of seminars. I work with lots of business leaders who've studied a lot, but at the same time, they're still not getting the results that they know that they're capable of, or they have a lot of chaos internally and mentally, and feel like they're not balanced enough and things like that. So that's what I love to do. Is just I'm not really in the space of helping people to just be happy. That's not what really drives me. I love helping people to perform, and that's why when someone comes to me and says, Michael, I've hit rock bottom, but I have a big dream and a big goal, and I'm prepared to work for it, I go, you're my type of person. Or the entrepreneurs that say, I've built $1 billion company, but at the moment, we've got all this other stuff that we want to do as well, and we want to triple it or quadruple it, and I go, you're my type of person as well. I think having that resilience and the drive to want to work for it makes a huge difference. So they're the people that I love working with.
Awesome. So that leads me into the next question. Actually, thank you for that. Is obviously you're in business, so what has been, and I mean, we all sometimes can be our own worst enemy when we're actually in business. So what would be your biggest struggle and your biggest milestone to date in business?
The biggest struggle is always myself. That's why I love. That's why I love learning about human behavior so much, because I'm the guinea pig. I know that from being going through school with parents who didn't have a lot of money. Like my mum had me at 17 and my dad was 19, and he worked 2 jobs, and I just saw them working extremely hard to create the life that they now have. And I think that from a young age, being put into special classes and not really the popular kid. I had bright red hair and freckles, and I was chubby. So I got picked on quite a lot, and I just felt like I was stupid, and I felt like I was dumb, and I felt like I was fat, and that I was ugly, and all those sort of things. I had all that stuff going on as a kid growing up, and there was something inside of me that said, you can be better than this. And that was the thing that sort of drove me to want to be better. And I knew I wasn't going to go to university and get a formal education, especially after school. I could now if I wanted to, but I just knew that wasn't going to be my place after I left school. But I thought there's something so much greater in me. There's this untapped potential. And I saw other people who had gone through a lot of challenges in life, and they tended to, create these extraordinary lives. But I also saw people who went through the same challenges, who ended up drug addicts and alcoholics and in jail, or dead. And so I knew that wasn't the defining factor. Like, the environment had a part to play, but at the same time, you can get 2 twins, same family. One ends up a drug addict, and the other one ends up, running multi-million-dollar companies and traveling around the world and having a beautiful family. So I was always inquisitive about that, and that's what drove me to be better, and that's still what drives me today. Is just me wanting to be better in myself. I know that every day I have this untapped potential, and so that's what I'm consistently exploring. And I think with my own exploration, I'm able to help others as well, because I've gone through a lot of the self-doubt, the beating yourself up, going to motivation events and high-fiving strangers and getting all elated and excited, and then crashing and ending up in ruts, and then beating yourself up emotionally because you feel lazy, and all of those type of things that I think a lot of people go through, and they're searching for answers just like I was. But yeah, I still think that I'm the biggest hindrance to the business, but I'm also the greatest gift to the business as well. So I think the biggest challenge is always me just figuring out the next step.
I absolutely agree. I think we're all all can relate to that. There was one quick question. I know we're on a time constraint, but I'll just quickly bring it
That's
up.
okay.
Cherry just said, you mentioned the word kinesiology, and she just said, would kinesiology help break down the barriers? So, is that something that you delve into in the workshop, or?
Not really. I don't use it a lot these days. I think it served a purpose, as did everything. I used to go to a lot of motivational events, and I found they served a purpose at a point in time. But then I found that they reached a glass ceiling. And kinesiology, I think there's some great things about it, and there's some limiting factors of it as well. A lot of the stuff that I've studied dives even deeper than that stuff. So, for the last 2 or 3 years, I've actually been studying a lot of the neuroscience and the physics of how our brain actually creates perceptions in the first place. Because a lot of the psychology field and NLP field and coaching field, they all talk about these limiting beliefs. But I wanted to know how they were created in the first place. So it pushed me to tap into all that stuff, which then opened up optogenetics and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I think that the stuff that we explore now and the stuff that I do with human psychology is far beyond, kinesiology. But there is a place for it. So I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I just think that it's a tool that can be used and is fantastic, but it has its limitations as well.
Great
Yep.
answer. Thanks for that. So, I think you've already said what the best part of your business is, but just briefly, what is the best part about what you do?
There's a few things. I love watching the inspiration of others, and I think the greatest gift that I can give the world is showing people that your environment and your past experiences don't dictate where you end up. And every day we have a choice about what we do. And I don't believe that pain and our past are the limitations. I believe that they're the gifts in order to make us better. So my whole job is just helping people to untap that potential and realize that the greatest gift that they're ever going to give themselves is their own self-worth. And self-worth is only ever built by the individual that pushes up against their own barriers, their own limitations, their own challenges, and says, I think I can do this, even though I'm absolutely scared shitless and I'm afraid. And what if it doesn't work? And all of those thoughts are going to be there. But there's this thing called courage, and the courage that they have to just go again. That's the thing that I think really excites me. And watching someone that says, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's the thing that I get excited about. Or when, we get all types of people come to our events. And I remember this woman who pretty much lost everything. And she's got a child who's heavily disabled and will need full-time care for the rest of their life. And she said to me, Michael, I know working with you is going to be the right thing. And I don't care. I'll sell my house and I'll sell everything I have and I'll be at your event. And she rocked up there and her life has just taken off. But she had the courage to do something. And then I meet other people who come to my events and they go, I don't have the time and I don't have the money. And, Kat ate my homework and, just all the excuses. And I go, you know what, you're just not ready. And for a lot of people, they need a lot of pain in order to change. And, for some people, when they are in that pain and they're ready to rock and roll and they're sick of that pain, that's when I come in and help them to untap that potential. But for other people, they just have a massive dream, and that's the thing that they want to really work on, but they know that they're getting in their own way. So, I love the creativity of the human spirit, and I love seeing people really be inspired by something that might even be unique. And I really believe that every human being is born to be extraordinary, because every child that I've ever met is extraordinary. They're master negotiators, master salespeople. They do whatever it takes to get whatever they want. They'll complain, fight. You tell them not to go outside, and the next second they're outside. Like, they do whatever it takes in order to get the things that they want, to have the experiences that they want. But for some reason, whether it's the schooling system, I'm not too sure. Different people have different ideas, but adults tend to lose that, and then everything becomes this barrier and this challenge. I can't do it because I don't have the money, I don't have the time. What will my friends think? What will my family think? And now they're just limited by all of these other factors, instead of just going, what would I want? What do I really want? And am I living up to my own expectations? And am I prepared to work for it? So, I just love seeing that human spirit shine.
And it's so true. So, Michael, the reason I asked you here tonight is because I'm actually going to your event on Thursday, and I'm super excited, along with a couple of other past students. So tell us about the event this week in Cairns. And not only that, you're on a national tour. So if anyone's watching this live show and you're not actually in Cairns, you're not going to miss out, because you're around the whole country. So what's happening on Thursday?
So Thursday in Cairns, I'll be running an event during the day, which is the Business Leader and Entrepreneur Summit. And so that event starts at 10 o'clock and goes until 4. I'm going to be breaking down a lot of the things that a lot of people don't really think about in business. So some more of the softer skills, like how to build power networks. There's a lot of stuff out there in networking, but I found it's been really poorly done. And that was the way, it's one of my gifts actually. That's the way that I built $1 billion client list last year amongst 10 clients. It's the way that I still end up with very, very high level networks and get to work with sporting associations, sporting teams, professional athletes, and so on. But there's a certain way of networking that most people don't understand. So I'm going to be going through that, some keys of communication, but really breaking down the challenges level by level as you grow your business from startup right through the business, and then all the skills that you're going to need, and the problems and the barriers that you might not even be aware of that are going to pop up. I'm going to be talking about them and then how to deal with them all.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So how do we get a ticket?
I'm assuming that my team will be somewhere on here, and you can go to my website, which is www.themojomaster.com.au. Tickets for the whole day event are $47. It's one of our intro events, so we like to keep it at a low price point as well. But I guarantee you that will not determine the value. I would be very, very surprised if someone says that they didn't get 10 times more than what they paid for it, and I know that that's a big claim, and most people claim that, but. I love teaching and I love learning, so I'm going to give as much as I possibly can that day. And then at nighttime, we've also got the power hours as well, which is just 3 hours of some key things. They're 15 key steps in order to make sure that you can keep being inspired and pushing yourself to greater and greater levels within your own life, and some of the challenges that you'll face coming up against that stuff, but just really helping you to reach your own potential and push up against your own limitations and how to overcome them. So that'll be the nighttime event, and that's $27.
Brilliant. So a little birdie told me that they might be free. Is that not right?
Oh, well, there you go. They probably are. If my team has teed up something with you guys, even better. So yeah, there's free tickets. To be honest, I'm so scattered because I've been absolutely flat out since I've been in Brisbane, and it's been crazy here. So yeah, I don't even know what day it is, but I know that we have an event here tomorrow. But yeah, thank you very much for reminding me of that. You can probably tell. Well, you can probably tell that in business, one of my skills is not high level detail. that's definitely not one of my skills. But yeah.
Oh, I had it flashing up on the screen, and I thought, oops, I better get rid of that just in case. But anyway, Alex has come on board, and he's got the promo code here for everybody. The link is in the comments, so just check out Alex Bennett's comment where he's got the promo code where you can attend the event this Thursday.
Awesome. So yeah, thank you very much for promoting what we do as well. Like it's great. Hopefully we'll see some people there. But I'm going to be going through some really cool stuff, and a lot of stuff that a lot of people would have heard of before, both in business and also in your personal life. How to keep achieving and keep leveling up in your own life.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining me. And is there anything else you want to share before we quickly finish this wonderful live interview?
Nothing else apart from if anyone's got any questions or anything, you can jump on my Facebook page, which is www.themojomastercoach.com.au, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions. You can follow me on Instagram, which is mojo_master. But for everyone who's listening as well, there's a few things that I will just quickly say. Number one is Aristotle said it how many hundreds of years ago, in order to live a great life, you need to know thyself, and then you need to be thyself. And I think that that's really where we start untapping our own potential, is knowing who you are and then tapping into that to be who you are. And that's the greatest gift that you can give the world. No one else can compete with you when you're yourself. But in this day and age, especially with social media and everything and comparatives, a lot of people lose themselves by trying to be something that they're not, competing with people who they aren't. So, just be yourself and keep pushing yourself, and also ask yourself the question every day, did I live up to my own expectations today? Because that's, I think, the key to living extraordinary.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Alex just said, let's not tell Michael they're free, so cat's out of the bag.
That's okay.
Thank you so much again for joining me again tonight, and I really look forward to having being part of and immersing myself into your event on Thursday. And if anybody else is watching live, the tickets are in the comment section. If you just check out Alex's post, he has the link there, so you can get hold of those amazing tickets. And thank you again. Look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it as well. And, thanks for having me on, and thanks for everyone else who's listening in as well. I think the most valuable asset we have is time. And if you've given up your time to watch this, I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us. See you
My
all
pleasure.
Thursday,
Thank you.
guys. Bye for now.